Hi class, in this recording we're going to focus on the nephron system of our kidneys. I put a link to a labeled diagram here for you. You can view this if you want. It's also in your lab manual. We also have some great stuff in visible body. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up visible body right now. First I want to talk about the two broad kinds of nephrons. First is the cortical nephron. Cortical nephrons are the most common kind of nephron. So here I have a cortical nephron highlighted. They're mostly going to be in the cortex and produce low concentrations or low concentrated or dilute urine. The other nephron type is the juxtamedullary nephron. Juxtamedullary nephrons will extend deep down into the renal pyramids. They're fewer in number, but they produce highly concentrated urine. Now, while we're looking at these two nephron types, I want to first emphasize peritubular capillaries. Both nephron types will have peritubular capillaries, both the juxtamedullary and the cortical nephrons. But only juxtamedullary nephrons will have the vasa recta capillary bed wrapping around the loop of Henle, or the nephron loop. As we look at the renal corpuscle itself, this is where the action is at. So I can go ahead and highlight the renal corpuscle right there. This is where we initially filter the blood. And we can see the renal corpuscle if we look at the cortex of the kidney. It's very easy to see, very big, bold, and beautiful. So here's a renal corpuscle, this circular structure. So if I zoom out, you can see how they are all over our field of view. But I'm going to zoom in on one individual renal corpuscle. This one individual renal corpuscle is here in our view of the kidney. And I want to make sure that I'm covering all of our lab objectives. So we can now see the entire structure as the renal corpuscle. And then with the outer edge of the renal corpuscle is referred to as the glomerular capsule, or if you're crusty like me, Bowman's capsule. So this outer edge here that I'm highlighting in green, that is a portion of Bowman's capsule, or the glomerular capsule. And then inside, we have a capillary bed referred to as the glomerulus, or glomerular capillaries. And we can see those glomerular capillaries right here on the inside of the renal corpuscle. And there's also going to be a little bit of space. I'm going to use some blue here to represent the space. This space that's in there also has a special name. That's referred to as the glomerular capsular space, or Bowman's capsular space. Within visible body, we can see the glomerulus as that capillary bed within. Can I do it? I'm using a trackpad right now. Looks like there we go. So I just highlighted the glomerulus. And I was glad I was able to do that because it was kind of tough with my trackpad. So here we'll highlight the glomerulus, and that drops. This is where the filtrate is produced. From here, the filtrate is collected in the glomerular capsule space and sent to the proximal convoluted tubule. It's called the proximal convoluted tubule because it's near the point of origin, the glomerular capsule, and it's convoluted. It bends back and forth. It's not a very direct tube. That proximal convoluted tubule will then send the filtrate through the descending limb of the loop of Henle. And from there, the filtrate will then travel through the ascending limb of the loop of Henle to the distal convoluted tubule. And then I want to emphasize that multiple distal convoluted tubules, so here's one on the upper left-hand corner of my screen. Here's the distal convoluted tubule. There, I just highlighted it. Here's another distal convoluted tubule. They'll all converge, and I should say all, but multiple distal convoluted tubules converge onto a collecting duct. and that collecting duct will then drain urine into a minor calyx. And from there, it goes to a major calyx, and then from there to the renal pelvis, and then to the ureter and urinary bladder. So that is the nephron system. If you have any questions or comments about our nephron system, either the anatomy or the histology, please feel free to post them on the class discussion boards or shoot me an email. And as always, happy studies.